In the past, brushing your teeth was as simple as just having a toothbrush and toothpaste. But today, it's kind of different as we have things as electric toothbrushes, and so it does most of our work for us. So as we change from a physical to a technological society through going from agriculture to more service economy today, we find that we're getting more things to make our life simpler, but we wonder whether this is a good or bad thing. My claim is that the change to a service economy negatively alters the perception of work because it causes less company loyalty, dependency in the government, and causes issues for young Americans entering the workplace. Some context on this issue is that around 2 million jobs were outsourced in 2015. And this is a big deal because as we go through the evolution of jobs, we go from the Industrial Revolution to the more service economy we have today. We find that that there's outsourcing because it's not only cheaper, but it's better for our economy. But as we are losing these jobs, we're finding that more people are losing loyalty in companies that they had been at because they're in different countries now. And we're becoming more dependent on things such as technology, as I referenced with the toothbrush earlier. So from the inspiration from the stimulus packet, I picked the sources World Without Work and the Address Nation on the Labor Day. And as Derek Thompson says, what may be looming is something different, an area of technological unemployment in which computer scientists and sophomore engineers essentially invent us all out of work and jobs decline steadily. This is basically showing how technology is going to get rid of most of our jobs today. And this is a big difference on what Nixon talks about, because he talks about how the work ethic of America is disappearing. But we find if there's a connection between the work ethic disappearing and the technology increasing. And whether this is because of technology and that how work today is becoming more of a requirement as you get money instead of from where work is ingrained as being patriotic toward your country. So you have to start off with technology in the classroom because as we move through technology, you can find how some of the ideals of education move into the workforce that we have. So first we have the fragmented writing skills, which comes from something called techniques. Basically, this is the texting thing that we have going on today. So people use things like IDK, meaning I don't know, or LOL, but they're finding that more people are gradually using these in English essays, college essays, and this is sort of changing their writing skills, reading skills, and they're losing some of these fundamental things that English is supposed to be teaching them. Also, they're finding they have less critical thinking skills because as it's called the Wikipedia effect, because it's students have grown so accustomed to getting quick answers with a few keystrokes that they are more likely to give up when they don't know the answer. So it's the idea of, from psychology, instant gratification. So they click on something and they immediately get it back. So therefore, when they get an essay to read or something, they look to find the answers right on the page rather than looking deeper than just the writing. And as you can see from this chart, most teens use technology for social networking, music, and games, and where education is only used for 20% rather than the high social networking, which is 75%, showing how education is viewed lower. So when they look at a device, they see something used for socially and gaming and entertainment rather than education. And this moves into the everyday workforce because company culture is changing these days from a more tool-based to more a toy and tool, because it's one of the biggest distractions in the workplace today. As you can see from this picture, you can see she's typing, she's trying to hold a pencil, she's holding a coffee, she's holding a phone, she's holding paper, she's trying to multitask, and is being distracted from her work. And also, you can see that there's a lack of challenge in the everyday workplace because people's jobs are either getting easier due to technology, or they're sort of giving up because of the distraction of technology. And so one example is from the Billings-Berg and Elmore academic source on how the CNC, computerized numeral control, they're losing skill due to loss of precision because they're not actually working on the machines anymore. They're more sitting back and letting the technology do it for them. And outsourced work is basically when, as I explained before, it's when service jobs are being moved out of the country into places like China, India, more semi-peripheral countries that are more third world. And so basically, as you can see by this chart, the number of manufacturing jobs are leaving the U.S. And how this is creating loyalty problems between workers is that they're from other countries, and so therefore they don't have as much loyalty to America. Like, for example, Apple has moved a lot of jobs to India. Therefore, India would be more they'd be more focused on the money point of Apple rather than being loyal to America. Also, jobs are being lost due to technology because, as the world without work goes with, is the fact that people are losing jobs because of the fact that technology is taking over their jobs. Like the drone effect and the fact that drones are now taking mail from place to place because people are using technology rather than actual people. So my counterclaim is that an increase in technology creates positivity, because as people are in work and they use technology, then it creates them more positive to their job because they think of it, oh yeah, I get to go to work and use my computer today. But the fact is that they're actually being separated through technology, because as in the office, people are typing at the computers, but they're separate from the other people as they're typing at their computers. Okay, and then my solution is one way to limit the distraction in the workplace would be to create an app to limit the use of cell phones. And for example, Galaxy has a smart app that makes it basic for them so that they can only use specific things on their phone at the one time. And so this would help workers because they wouldn't be able to text or use Netflix while they were at work. But one downfall to this is that there's no way, some kids may need to get in touch with their parents in case of emergencies or something like that. And also another solution would be to encourage more Americans to travel around and go to outside jobs, like jobs in China and India, so that more people can experience not only the culture there, but they can get people to be more patriotic toward their jobs. But again, this is a lot of cost, money, and resources. And in conclusion, as service jobs increase in our society from 1971, the perception of jobs is negatively causing people to view money as a more important part of work rather than keeping work ethic ingrained in the future. I hope that people can find the devotion and passion for work again.
Okay, Mia, a couple of questions. How did you select the strategies you used to gather information or conduct research, and were they effective?
Well, one thing I used was EBSCO. I really loved EBSCO because once I typed in things like service work and agricultural work, then immediately popped up with things that they had in the past and the future, so I was able to connect the two, especially with the points on education and then going into the workforce, because it really helped me to connect these two together, because it showed like the past and the present, and then it also showed how education fell into workplace and how this was sort of affecting each other, and how future generations could continue to affect these.
Okay, and your second one is, if you had more time, what additional research would you conduct related to this issue?
Well, I originally had more on welfare and how government aid could also lead to, and how technology could lead to more people going toward welfare because they don't have jobs due to technology. But I couldn't find enough on it due to the fact that there wasn't a lot showing that between 1971 and today there was a lot more people on welfare, and I was trying to use mostly the facts of showing 1971 to today. I did find one really good source though. It said that today we had roughly 2 million people between 2000 and today, people on welfare at one point.
Okay.